Exactly. But the requests I was getting for the cam shows were so weird. But the weirdest one beside like the anti-gay, they want you to say slurs. They're like, "Oh, call me a slur."
I feel like
What?
that's a trap. I feel like that is a
Oh
trap.
my God. Like, sir, why do you think that you can come to my page and even request that? What about me thinks that you can ask that? But they're just ballsy as online.
Well, then, I mean
But they do the
that's
race requests too. They want you to call you racial slurs. And
yeah, especially with camming. I feel like that is a trap because they'll screen cap you or some shit, and then all of a sudden, oh, I have this footage without any context of like dropping an N bomb or saying something like transphobic or whatever they're paid for.
exactly.
Fuck.
Exactly. And it's like, why? Why? That's what I try to understand sometimes when they ask me this shit. I'm like, why? What happened to you that made you want to ask this shit? You typed it out, bro. But the craziest one is this guy kept going in the chat and was like, watch me come on my girlfriend. And I was like, okay, well, request a private chat then, dumbass. Like, get the chat going, request it. I can't just be like, yeah, let's watch you come on your girlfriend. Ooh. So I was like kind of playing up for him. And then there was a couple other people that I was chatting to in there that were doing a lot of tokens and spinning the wheel. So I was doing a bunch of other stuff. And finally he requests it. Oh my God. I don't even know if this was real. And if it is, like, I don't know. I had no idea if it was real. So he's like, it's like from his POV, and I can see him jacking off his, and it's just like a normal, like average. I don't know. Maybe he was white, and he was wearing like a black shirt that covered his belly, no tattoos or anything. Because I look for that. I'm like, you got tattoos? I'm gonna identify you. And he's jacking off, and his girlfriend is wearing like black shorts and like another black shirt, sleeping on the bed. Like, but here's the thing: why I think it wasn't real. Who the sleeps like this? I'm sorry. Not even people in TV shows sleep like this. And it just was like, it just looked too staged and she wasn't moving. And he was standing over her and he was like, oh, telling me to like say stuff like, oh, come on her. And I think her name was like Brianna or something, like Brianna or, and he's like, tell me to, oh, I want you to come on Brianna. And I literally was like, I almost didn't even believe if it was real because, and he came on her ass. He came on her ass and then immediately ended the chat. And I'm left like looking at myself in the chat like, he just came on Brianna.
And
Oh,
then
wow.
the much more real take is that's a bold move with that amount of semen and that amount of black clothing.
He,
Like, who
I'm telling you, it didn't look real.
what?
And the sheets weren't on her. It looked like someone had like thrown the sheets back off her. I shoot almost every day in the last 2.5 years. When it's staged, like when someone's actually sleeping, but it was very creepy. And I was just like, oh my God. But you know what I could do? I could go back up in the chat and click him and I restricted him. So he couldn't or blocked him or whatever it allows. But what the is that? And it just makes me think if that was my first night camming, what are these girls doing every day, like in these private chats?
Oh, I mean, that's not even the worst story I've ever heard. I had friends who, shortly after they got in the industry, they're only getting booked every once in a while, so they had to turn to camming, and they were camming as a couple.
Mm.
And the amount of like scenarios that dudes would ask them to do, like they would turn to him and be like, "So call her, this name, and that's my daughter's name," and like weird incest play.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I actually know someone that was friends with this guy who used to him. So what the story is that there was a friend group of the guys and they all were like, bro, that's so cool. You're your stepsister and they like the friend group actually thought it was super cool. And this
I mean,
was,
was she hot?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but this I
I
just
don't actually condone such things.
but here's the thing, like I think he's like in his late 30s, 40s now, but he's like now thinking about how like jealous we were and like how cool we thought he was. Now he like realizes how up that was. And like just the weird dynamic of you know, because when you're young men, you're like, oh yeah, you know, I got a girl, you know, my girlfriend over here. But then it's like when it comes to like, oh, it's right across the hall, it brings up all that weird family relation stuff that is a very, very touchy subject and very, very. I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it in forever. And you know what's the last video I ever did that was stepsister? It was for nubiles. And it's like it's for Princess Come. I think I'm on the cover of the DVD for it, but it was like borderline. Like I from that day out, I was like, never again. I'll never be a stepsister. I'll never be a daughter, cousin, fucking niece. I won't do it. No, give it to someone else. I don't need it that bad. I don't need to check that bad, girl.
See, I have theories about that shit. Like, I don't know how much that shit actually people are into as much as like, oh, this is the setup and we just put two hot people together and they're clicking on the scene because it's two hot people, not necessarily because of the how many people actually give a about the setup for a scene.
I don't know, because then you dive into the concept of like, what is a consumer of who are you making for? Because there's so many different people in the world that it's like, you can make porn for pedophiles and you can make porn for fucking rapists and shit.
On the
And
first one, you definitely cannot legally, and we do not condone such things.
no, I don't mean it like literally, but
I know,
it's obviously very geared toward people that have
Oh no, like the brightly colored, barely legal scenes where like it's
like, why do I need to be wearing a backpack that's at the children's place? Like, why do I need to have my hair in pigtails? Like, granted, pigtails are cute, but I mean, if you're picking a girl who looks like she's maybe 15 or 16, who just physically, you know, she's over 18, but she looks younger, and you purposely dress her and stuff like that, to me, it just makes me think of like who is, because you know, as content creators, we're like, okay, who's buying our stuff? What are they wanting? What are the big numbers pulling? And it's like every time you pull the statistics and it's like stepsister, stepdaughter, number one thing.
I would be curious if you took the same scene and cut it twice, like once with the step, bullshit in it and one without, and put them both out there with, different titles or whatever, but put the exact same sex scene.
Yeah.
And see how well it performed. If it was just like, oh, Blake's hot with whoever, or it's because Blake's saying, oh, stepbrother, give it to me hard. Like,
yeah. But there's different degrees of like what you're doing with step, because the way you post it, you can have the scene that's like, a script. There's some type of way that they meet. There's some type of reason why they're, and then there's and it's very obvious that that's what it is. It's titled that way. Then you have the scenes that are just normal and they're just titled stepsister. And it's like a POV video. The girl's face cut from here. It's a POV. Her head's not even in it. And it's like, my stepsister in the morning. Yeah, we don't know who this bitch is.
right?
We don't know what's going on. We can't even see her face. Like,